Shocking, the world witnessed a startling development recently in Israel. Tensions between Muslims and Jews over the Temple Mount has reached a boiling point, sending shock waves across the globe. The air is thick with uncertainty and the possibility of ancient prophecies coming to life looms large. Is this a sign of the end times, or are we on the brink of something even more chilling? Let's dive deep into this video to know about this urgent situation and uncover the truth. Some folks think the prophecies in the Bible aren't just tales of the past. They reckon these predictions are still happening. It's like a story that's halfway told and the rest is playing out right in front of us. But is there truth to this? Let's dive into these ancient prophecies to see what. These prophecies are scattered in old books like Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel and Daniel. They talk about big things like Israel getting back on its feet, the Jewish folks heading home, and Jerusalem being rebuilt. There's even talk about this huge kingdom that's yet to come. It's almost like they're predicting the future. Solomon's task back. When Solomon was crowned king, he knew he needed a permanent spot for folks to worship Yahweh. No dilly-dallying. He gathered heaps of gold, silver, bronze, cedar wood and skilled workers from all over. After 7 long years, the temple was finally up and running. But here's the twist: Solomon's fancy temple didn't last. Around 586 BCE, the Babylonians led by King Nebuchadnezzar II barged in and wrecked everything. They tore down the temple, smashed up a big chunk of the city and dragged the Israelites off to Babylon as captives. After almost a decade, things took a turn for the better. When Cyrus the Great, the Persian king, gave the nod, he let many Israelites head back to Jerusalem, giving them the green light to rebuild their city and the temple. With Zerubbabel leading the way, they rolled up their sleeves and got to work. The Second Temple. Fast forward to around 515 BCE, and after a good 4 years of hard graft, they finished the Second Temple. It was a monumental achievement. They dedicated this grand structure to Yahweh with a huge ceremony, sacrificing and celebrating to mark this special moment. Centuries zoomed by, and instead Herod the Great, ruling from 37 to 4 BCE, this guy had grand visions for the temple. He wanted it to sparkle and show off his might, so he pulled out all the stops. Herod didn't hold back. He went for a total makeover. Despite the dazzling improvements, tragedy struck once more. In 70 CE, Romans led by Titus marched into Jerusalem during the First Jewish-Roman War. Unfortunately, they laid siege to the city and brought down the curtains on the Second Temple after the destruction of Herod's temple. The once vibrant site fell into silence. No new temple rose from the ruins. Why? Well, the land of Israel underwent a series of rule changes, each empire bringing its own set of policies and restrictions. These made it quite challenging to rebuild the temple. With Herod's temple reduced to rubble, Judaism took a turn. The focus shifted away from centralized worship at a physical temple. Instead, prayer and study became the cornerstones of religious practice. Rabbinic Judaism took the lead, with synagogues becoming vital community hubs. While the majority embraced this shift, some segments of Israeli society yearn for the resurrection of a third temple on the same site. However, this desire faces challenges. Opposition comes from various groups, notably Islamic organizations, adding layers of complexity to this aspiration. The quest for the Third Temple, Islamic structures on sacred grounds, and this complex tale of faith and geopolitics. The power dynamics in the region have given rise to significant Islamic structures, the iconic Dome of the Rock and the Grand Al-Aqsa Mosque. However, amidst these structures lies a profound challenge. Any attempt to alter or rebuild a Jewish temple on this sacred site sparks not just uproar but widespread conflict. The historic power dynamics add layers of complexity, yet the dream of reconstructing the Third Temple stands as a pivotal endeavor. Why? It's believed to align with biblical prophecies, a crucial step toward ushering in the Messianic age. However, uncertainties shroud this prophecy, leaving it hanging in the balance. We can turn to historical records to understand the significance of such prophecies. For instance, consider Ezekiel 37:21 and 22. It foretells how God will bring the Israelites back to their land, a prophecy that seemingly found fulfillment when the modern state of Israel was established. In 1948, prophecies unfolding, signs of the times. One such prophecy is a nation born in a day. In the tapestry of biblical prophecies, the concept of a nation being born in a single day emerges, echoing the words of Isaiah 66:8. This prophecy carries weight, symbolizing the birth of the modern state of Israel in 1948. It's as if the pages of Isaiah's words unfolded before our eyes. Another prophecy is about wars and rumors of wars moving through the corridors of prophecy. Matthew 24:6-7 beckons our attention. Jesus himself foretold of wars and rumors of wars, signifying tumultuous times. 2 world wars and ongoing conflicts ripple through history, leaving some to ponder. Is this the continuous unfolding of the prophecy? Then there are natural disasters. Luke 21:1 vividly depicts an era marked by natural disasters, earthquakes, famines, and pestilences occurring everywhere. Glancing at recent times, it's evident that our world has weathered significant natural upheavals. Are these the echoes of a prophecy etched centuries ago? In the midst of these unfolding prophecies, the focus remains on the elusive Temple Mount. Jews convinced that the end is drawing near grapple with the reality that waiting isn't enough. The Temple Mount, laden with historical and religious significance, stands as a complex puzzle awaiting resolution. The Sanhedrin preparing for the Third Temple. In anticipation of the Third Temple, an institute known as the Sanhedrin has emerged, holding responsibility for managing the necessary preparations. The institute has paved the way for the temple's future re-establishment. The Sanhedrin stands as a guiding force in these meticulous preparations. Among their comprehensive efforts, the Sanhedrin is diligently working on various projects. One such endeavor is the creation of the biblical temple forest. This forest holds pivotal significance as it is designed to fulfill the agricultural needs essential for the operation of the Third Temple. Rabbi Hilo Weiss, the Sanhedrin spokesperson, provides a perspective beyond the customary perception of the temple. He underscores that the temple doesn't merely revolve around animal sacrifices and rituals but encapsulates a profound connection between the divine and the land. Further, Rabbi Hillel Weiss sheds light on a distinct perspective regarding sacrifices, emphasizing a departure from the conventional association with animals. Contrary to popular belief, the Sanhedrin is diversifying sacrificial offerings by incorporating plant-based contributions grown in the vicinity of Israel and to facilitate the eventual functioning of the Third Temple. The Sanhedrin has established an institution tasked with selecting and training individuals to serve as priests within the sacred precincts, undertaking a meticulous initiative. The Sanhedrin has embarked on crafting replicas of materials akin to those utilized in the ancient temple. Exhibiting some of these materials provides a tangible glimpse into the historical authenticity the Sanhedrin aims to recreate. Unveiling the significance of the red hair. However, the path to rebuilding the Third Temple encounters unique challenges, notably with the requirement of a red hair. Referencing the Book of Numbers, chapter 19:2-10, Rabbi Weiss delineates the divine command for an unblemished red heifer. This sacred animal is integral to purification rituals involving its slaughter by a priest and the sprinkling of its blood before the tabernacle. Post-slaughter, the red hair becomes a focal point in ancient purification rituals, combining its ashes with cedar wood and scarlet material. The residue is meticulously preserved in a pristine location outside the camp. These ashes, a sacred relic, later played a crucial role in purification ceremonies. When the need arises, the collected ashes are mixed with water, forming a purifying solution. This concoction is employed to cleanse individuals who have encountered death, rendering them ritually impure. The meticulous adherence to these rituals illustrates the profound importance attributed to spiritual purification. The rituals surrounding the red hair are laden with symbolism and ritualistic meanings. In ancient religious contexts, the red color symbolizes blood and sacrifice. The unblemished nature of the hair embodies purity, serving as a powerful metaphor for spiritual renewal and cleansing from impurity. In interpreting these requirements, some draw parallels with Christian beliefs. The red hair, often linked to Jesus as the spotless Lamb of God, embodies spotlessness and purity. The sacrificial narrative resonates as an early symbolic representation of Jesus's ultimate sacrifice for the redemption and forgiveness of sins, offering spiritual renewal to humanity. Red hair ritual and Christian symbolism. Revisiting the ritual outlined in Numbers 19, the red hare's slaughter outside the camp draws striking parallels with the crucifixion of Jesus outside Jerusalem. This poignant resemblance captures a profound narrative where both sacrificial acts unfold beyond the confines of established structures. In both instances, the blood assumes a central role in the act of purification and atonement, adhering to ancient traditions. The priest sprinkles the hare's blood 7 times on the tabernacle, an act symbolic of cleansing and spiritual renewal. This ritualistic act mirrors the shedding of Jesus' blood on the cross, a divine sacrifice aimed at offering forgiveness for humanity's sins. The early Christian community found profound significance in interpreting the red hare rituals as symbolic representations of Jesus' sacrificial journey. This perspective is echoed in various texts of the New Testament, unveiling a spiritual tapestry that intertwines Old Testament rituals with the redemptive narrative of Jesus. The Book of Hebrews, a cornerstone in Christian theology, explicitly parallels the red hare sacrifice in Jesus' selfless act on the cross. In Hebrews 9:13 and 14, the author articulates the transformative power of both sacrifices, stating, "The blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of a hare sprinkled on those who are ceremonially unclean sanctify them." The scriptural insight magnifies the significance of Jesus' unblemished offering, cleansing human consciences from the burdens of sin and paving the way to serve the living God. Arrival of red hare. Delving deeper into the interpretation that intertwines the red hare rituals with the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus. These ancient Hebrew rituals serve as poignant foreshadowing embedded in the Hebrew Bible, particularly in Genesis and Numbers. The red hare becomes a symbolic precursor to Jesus' sacrificial journey, a narrative woven with profound spiritual significance. The quest to procure a suitable red hare, marked by technological challenges and repeated failures, echoed the longing of the Jewish community for prophetic fulfillment. Their prayers found resonance when, seemingly against all odds, a devoted Christian played a pivotal role in providing the elusive red hare. This intervention was perceived as a divine response, affirming the proximity of the prophecy's fulfillment. To commemorate the arrival of this significant red hare, a ceremonial event unfolded at Benguin Airport. Dignitaries from the Jewish community graced the occasion, recognizing the profound symbolism and prophetic implications attached to this rare and precious animal. Upon arrival, the red hare Kales were carefully transported to Hia, a coastal city, where they underwent a mandatory quarantine period mandated by the Israel Veterinary Authority. This meticulous process, lasting at least 7 days, ensured the health and compliance of the hares with established regulations. Following the completion of quarantine, the red hare cows were released to 2 distinct locations in Israel, one accessible to the public, embodying transparency. At the same time, the other remains undisclosed, veiled in symbolic mystery, preparing for prophecy and rituals. You might wonder why the red hares are placed in 2 different spots. Well, it's like a safety precaution. The temple and its rituals are super important too. The Jewish people, and any harm to them is a big deal. By keeping one location a secret, they're playing it safe to avoid anything that might mess with the sacredness of the red hare and its role in purification rituals. The undisclosed spot adds an extra layer of protection. It's like keeping a secret recipe safe by not telling everyone where the red hares are. They're making sure no one can mess with the important rituals or the hares themselves. It's all about preserving the purity of the process at these locations. The red hares are treated like VIPs. They get all the good stuff, proper food and lots of attention. It's like a hare spa until they grow up and reach their third year. During this time, they're getting ready for a special role in the purification process. The Jewish community is prepping for something big, rebuilding the Third Temple and fulfilling ancient prophecies. The red hares play a crucial part in these plans. When the hares reach their 3rd year, they'll be part of a special ceremony. Their remains will be turned into ashes, all in line with the preparations for the big prophecy fulfillment. A water libation ceremony on the 12th of October. Many people got together for a special ceremony called the water libation. It's a bit like what they used to do in the Old Temple a long time ago. The ceremony was led by Kohanim, who are priests wearing special clothes, and Levites who play musical instruments. They started in the old city of Jerusalem at Shahar Haspot and went to Shiloh, also known as Siloam Springs, following the same paths as they did in the time of the Old Temple. People chanted, danced, and played silver trumpets during the parade at each stop. Important Rabbis supervised the event, and during the event the group had a golden jug filled with water. From the pool they returned to the mountain summit, where they set up a model altar and tools just like in the old temple. The altar was also decorated with big leafy branches. Continuing the ancient temple tradition, and the ceremony ended with the priestly blessing and the hall ceremony, which only happens once every 7 years, even though the water ceremony isn't exactly mentioned in the Torah. It's part of what Moses taught orally. People see it as a happy holiday. The ceremony would go on in the old temple for 15 hours. And the celebrations would continue all night until the next morning, when the temple service started again. People from all over the world came to take part in the Sukkot celebrations, making it a day of worship for everyone in the last 6 days of Sukkot. They did a water ceremony and poured wine during the morning service. The priests filled a flask with spring water and went from the temple to the Shach spring at the base of Mount Moriah. 2 priests climbed the stone altar in the temple's courtyard and poured wine and water into special holes made for this ceremony. The pool, also known as Shalom in English and Silwan in Arabic, is important in the Bible. They believe it will come back to life after they finish building the third temple. Pilgrims used to start their journey to Jerusalem at this pool for the biblical feast. After cleaning themselves in the pool, they would go to the inner court of the Temple Mount to give their sacrifices. They found the pool in 2004 and are still digging and exploring it. According to the Babylonian Talmud, the year after the Shemitah is thought to be lucky for the Messiah to come. A prophecy in the book of Amos says the tribe of Israel will be brought back from other nations. The Talmud also talks about the hard times that will happen before the Messiah comes. It's not clear if the Jews will build another real temple before Christ comes again, because a spiritual temple is already being built. The most important thing is to be part of God's spiritual temple by living a life devoted to God and being ready for whatever challenges might come in the end times battle of Armageddon. Despite the joyous Sukkot celebrations, a concerning incident unfolded when more than 800 Israeli settlers accompanied by Israeli forces forcefully entered the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in East Jerusalem. This event raises questions about the fulfillment of biblical prophecies, particularly the impending Armageddon. Many biblical prophecies have found fulfillment, but the lingering question remains: will Armageddon unfold? To comprehend the meaning of Armageddon in a biblical context, we turn to the book of Revelation, stating, "And they gathered them together to the place called in Hebrew Armageddon." Armageddon, as depicted in Revelation, is a gathering place for armies during the end times. It signifies a colossal event where nations assemble for war against God. Revelation 19:11 and 21 defines Jesus Christ's return to earth as a conquering warrior leading an army of angels. This divine intervention results in the defeat of evil forces and the establishment of God's kingdom. The Battle of Armageddon symbolizes the ultimate triumph of righteousness over wickedness, marking the culmination of God's plan for humanity's redemption. The term Armageddon draws upon the historical significance of Mount Megiddo, an ancient city in present-day Israel known for its strategic battlefield. The mention of Armageddon in Revelation uses this historical context to symbolize a significant battle between good and evil, linking the battle to the Third Temple. While the Battle of Armageddon is anticipated to occur after the construction of the Third Temple, concerns arise due to the ongoing crisis in the Holy City. The escalating tensions between Muslims and Jews over the ownership of the Temple Mount raise questions about the potential connection between these crises and the prophesied Battle of Armageddon. Amidst these uncertainties, the hope is that the will of God prevails, whether the current crises lead to the prophesied Armageddon or if another path unfolds. The prayer is for God's divine guidance and resolution. The unfolding events in Jerusalem underscore the complexity of biblical prophecies and the ever-present need for prayer and understanding. So what do you think of these final warnings happening in Israel, shocking the entire world? If you like this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more video.